And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC-TV 25, the sports show devoted exclusively to St. Mary's University and its athletic programs. Dean Beckman, Sports Information Director Donny Nadeau. This is the last Cardinals Nest of this season. And Donny, we saved the best for last. Pat Jacobsen joining us, assistant baseball coach. Not only is he the last guest of the year, but the second angriest man on campus right now. Nick Winicky is the first. So Pat's assistant baseball coach to Nick, and as we tape this, Nick, we've got snow coming down like it's Christmas, right? You're not going to be playing for a little while,
yeah,
right?
I mean, we're at the point now where we're beyond the humor factor, we're beyond the anger factor, and now I don't even know how to describe it. It's
surreal, isn't it?
3 days in a row of 70-plus weather. You know, yesterday it gets cold, and you just hope the forecasts are wrong, and you wake up this morning and you see white stuff on the ground, and all you can do is shake your head. And it's been crazy, and there's nothing to do to explain it. You can't get angry about it. You can't be upset. I mean, everyone in the conference is dealing with it. It's like I said, it's just one of those things that you just got to deal with.
So what is the conference doing? I mean, what is the plan as far as looking ahead to playoffs? And maybe that's going to change now, given these last few rounds of games probably getting canceled.
Yeah, it's tough to say right now if it will change. Obviously, with the weather, it's looking that way. The plan is, if every single conference game is played as of next Wednesday, if it's deemed that every conference game will be played, the format will remain the same. It's a 4-team double elimination tournament based on conference record. If even one conference game is not able to be played by Thursday, May 9th, it will go to a 6-team single elimination tournament based on winning percentage. So we'll let the people at the MIAC determine, the winning percentage and who's going to get in. Obviously, you hope and you pray that everyone's able to get your games in. The coaches in our conference love the tournament the way it's scheduled. The 4 teams, the double elimination. It's a great tournament. Obviously, we wouldn't want to change that, but with the weather being the way it is, it's really tough to believe that we're going to get every single game in.
Sounds like a scenario that's a lot of fun for sports information directors,
exactly.
isn't it?
I think I've written more postponement and cancellation stories than I have game stories. But, you look at maybe a forewarning of the season that you guys were going to have when you were in Arizona. And the last 2 days in Arizona, the temperatures were in the 40s. You go down south to play in the nice weather, and you actually had, pretty poor weather then. You've gone through a stretch of 17 days where you had 14 postponements. You get a nice week, and now you're kind of sitting on your heels now watching it snow. How do you keep the players engaged and really kind of keep them focused on the fact that, we might play tomorrow, but we might not. We might play the next day, but we might not.
Well, there's really only so much a coaching staff can do to keep them motivated through times like this. The biggest thing that we tell them is it's not just us. It's not just St. Mary's that's dealing with this. It's everyone in the conference. So everyone has this task ahead of them to remain motivated, to remain upbeat and able to play. And that's really been great. And our guys have done a great job of staying motivated and coming to practice every day, understanding that it's 50-50 if we're going to play the next day, and it's 50-50 if we'll even be outside for practice. But they've come to practice every single day, ready to work, ready to get better, because they understand that it's the team that can weather the storm, no pun intended, that can weather this storm the longest and the best is going to come out on top in the end. And we've got a lot of guys that are dedicated to St. Mary's baseball and dedicated to getting better, and that's been a huge blessing. We've done our best as a coaching staff to try to keep things interesting, to have some fun at practice, to keep the mood light. But the guys have been absolutely far better than I ever imagined. And I'm looking back as myself when I was a player and can't imagine going through this situation and how these guys have dealt with it. And it's great to see that they're motivated and dedicated even through what we've gone through in the past month.
You look at a sport like baseball where your season is already pretty compact. Now you've compacted it even more. The depth that you guys have really has to help, because now if you just look at what you have left, you play Sunday at Augsburg, you play Monday at home against McAllister, you get a off day, if you want to call it that, on Tuesday, and then you go Wednesday at Carleton and Thursday at Concordia. You need a lot of players, and especially on the pitching side.
Absolutely. And that's something that we obviously never anticipated having to do. But something that Nick and myself have always said for recruiting-wise is you always need to have depth, and we've always had the goal of bringing in classes where it's going to allow us to have depth late in the year when people start to get banged up, if injuries happen to happen, and it's worked out for the better this year to be able to have players to be inserted if someone's cold, if someone's nicked up. We can insert someone in and we're not giving up a whole lot. I mean, from the pitching standpoint, we've got a group of guys that really understand that it's a shortened season, so guys that are deep in the bullpen are going to be relied upon to come out and throw. And I think if you've seen our bullpen numbers here in the past couple of weeks, we've had a group of guys that really have come on and basically taken the staff on their shoulders and said, follow us, we've got you. If the starter doesn't go 6, we've got you. And it's great to see especially freshmen all the way up to seniors step up in that role. Some of them will probably pitch with some sore arms that haven't said anything. I'd be hard pressed to believe that they haven't. But they've been nothing but dedicated to what we're trying to do here, and they've been warriors, every single one of them.
Well, and of course the depth helps add some competition in practice as well. And our producer John Hines has been able to get some highlights of some of the games. You are coming off of a 3-game homestand right now, and for each of those 3 doubleheaders, you split all 3 of them.
The split is something that is very, very overlooked in our conference. A split in the MIAC is a great thing. Obviously, sweeps are great. I mean, if you sweep or get swept, it's huge in the standings. It's going to vault you up or it's going to knock you down. But especially with the way this conference has gone, with some teams riding hot streaks, some teams that are expected to be at the top, mean towards the bottom. What we've been able to do the past 4 games has been, or past 4 series, I should say, has been great because it's kept us in the loop. Especially being able to win game 2s after losing game 1s. For example, the Hamlin, where we lose a close one to Hamlin and fall behind early, but are able to come back and win a big game. And splits keep you around. They keep you in the mix, and it allows us a chance to make the conference tournament here.
You talk about, I look at your team as the resiliency of that team, because like you said, you look at, yes, you've split the last 4 doubleheaders, but in, like you said, 2 of them, you've lost that first game. You lose the first game, it's tough to come back and win that second game, and yet you've done that. You mentioned the Hamlin game, and I think that might be the signature game of the season for you guys. You'll lose that first game, and you're down 6-2. Seems like nothing's going right for you in the second game, and you come back and you win 9-8. Talk a little bit about how a team can just stay within themselves despite what seems like a crazy, you're down 8-2 going into the bottom of the 5th inning, and you score the next 7 runs and win the game.
College baseball is kind of a different beast. It's different from high school. It's different from pro ball because anything can happen at any time. Any team can rattle off 6-7 runs, get themselves back in a game or win a game. You don't really see that too much in pro ball. High school ball maybe, somewhat, but teams are so equally matched in college baseball from top to bottom that you're never ever out of it. You're 3 at-bats away from being back in a game. And that's something that this team has always been able to understand. And I mean, from last year into this year, how many come from behind wins this team has had. We had 2 back-to-back come from behind wins, halfway through our trip down in Arizona, that really kind of allowed this team to see that we can be down and we can still come back. And so it's just a matter of being able to, as Coach Whaley, my head coach in college and now is back an assistant, always used to say, let the game come back to you. If you let the game come back to you, it will. And what that means is not panicking, not stressing, not doing anything different, than what you've done the previous innings, but basically allowing baseball to happen. And like I said, one swing of the bat away, or in our instance against Hamlin, you're 1 inning away. You put some good at-bats together, and it's contagious. Coach Wenneke just talked about this yesterday at practice, is how contagious good things can be. A good start, good start in game 1 from a pitcher leaks into a good start in a game 2 from the pitcher. A good at-bat from the leadoff guy leaks into a good at-bat from the 2-hitter. And that's the prime example of what happened there in the 5th inning against Hamlin. Good things started to happen, we continued to roll, and before you know it, we're tied 8-8 and with a chance to win it.
You know, we talked about the depth of this team, and you know, I think the players that are returning that kind of led the way last year are doing a great job again this year. You look at Paul Anasa, you look at Kevin Gannon on the mound, you look at Teddy Van Ranson, Justin Cronenbush, and Sam Nord. But really, there are some other people that have kind of stepped into some pretty impressive roles. I look at David Barry playing shortstop for you, and Drew Denning. I mean, two guys that we didn't talk a lot about last year that are really coming into their own this year.
Yeah, shortstop was a position, obviously with losing Danny Garrity last year, who started, you would probably know the numbers more than I would. It was over 90% of the games, you know, he started last year. And so shortstop coming in, you know, we had a freshman, Stefan Skatasa coming in, who we thought could compete for some time. David Barry was in the mix. Taylor Thelman was in the mix. And David Barry was a player that you saw in the rack, hitting, throwing every single day. Yeah, he's not the only one, but he's someone that we noticed every single day. And he put himself in a position to be able to compete for some playing time. And it has really solidified. Him and Taylor Thelman have both solidified the shortstop position. And some place that we were a little unsure of what we were going to have out of it. And it's credit to the hard work that he's put into it. I mean, Drew Denning, the same thing. You know, Zach Wolf has a little bit of a tough time, and Drew Denning comes in and
not having a tough time there. That was the home run he hit against Hamlin.
that was a hanger that he bopped pretty good. But you know, Drew's a kid that we've kind of bumped around from position to position, and has really kind of found a home on the corners at third base and at first base, and you know, provides us a left-handed bat. You know, with be able to grind out at bats, and he's a player that's really has kind of understood his role and has accepted it, and has really come on his own and put himself in a position to see some playing time and see some good innings for us.
You know, hopefully you play Monday at home, and I say hopefully because you know, it's senior day, always an important day for every sport that's here at St. Mary's. But you've got 8 graduating seniors who have really been a pretty instrumental part in the success that this program has started to experience, and talk a little bit about what they've meant to this program.
This senior class has been a great class for 4 years. It's the first class that, you know, Coach Winneke and myself have had, you know, for 4 years, and it's really the first class that Coach Winneke had recruited. You know, this was the year before I had come in, and it's a special group because it's the players that we've really gotten a chance to know on a pretty deep personal level here in the past 4 years. And it's really the group that went through the struggles, you know, for the first couple of years, their freshman and sophomore years, and were really forced into duty sooner than we had anticipated. Obviously, you know, in the MIAC, your good teams are led by your juniors and your seniors. And, you know, St. Mary's baseball a few years ago was predominantly freshmen and sophomores. And it's a group that had to go through some tough times to really benefit, you know, from the good times. And it's a group full of leaders, you know, from leaders on the field to leaders in the classroom, and it's one of those classes that you know they're destined for great things, and you're excited for them, but at the same time you're kind of sad and you're upset that you're going to be losing them, because it's such a great group of ball players and such a great group of young men.
And Nick, not only that, but I was talking to some of the senior parents at that game against Hamlin, and the parents have sort of bonded with that squad as well. The parents get together even during the off season, and so what isn't just the players, but the parents factor in there too. And
the parents here at St. Mary's baseball have been great even since I was in school. I mean, I remember, you know, when my parents would come down to Florida for our spring trips, and you know, I see them interact with the other parents, and the same thing here now. I mean, parents will head down to Arizona, they'll head down to Iowa, they'll go to Wisconsin, they'll go to all the away games, and they'll spend a lot of time together. And I mean, it's just like 18 to 22-year-old guys. When you get them together in close quarters for an extended period of time, they start to grow closer. And you know, the parents go through the highs and the lows with the players just the same as the coaches do. So it's through those struggles and through those good times that, you know, the parents really do bond as well.
But and I think they have seen too the progression of the program, because one of them said, you know, as a freshman we were very happy playing competitively. Now, you know, we're upset if we expect to win. We're upset if we don't win, and so that's, I think, kind of a big difference just in a 4-year time frame.
And that's part of the culture that, you know, Coach Winneke and myself have preached since, you know, the time that we've gotten here is establishing a culture of, you know, competitive excellence, of doing things the right way, day in and day out. And you know, the winning and the losing, that takes care of itself at the end of the day. But if you're doing things the way that you know how to do and the way you're supposed to be doing, obviously good things are going to happen. And that's a byproduct of the culture that we've, attempted to establish is, we've become more competitive in the MIAC. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing when you're expected to win and you're upset when you don't. It's a motivating factor for coaches. It's a motivating factor for player as well. So why it's, a little bit tougher on the heart, and a few more gray hairs, it's great that we've begun to build that culture in St. Mary's baseball.
Jake, they were showing some highlights a little while ago where you guys were wearing your baby blue jerseys. Talk a little bit about that game. It was Strikeout for Prostate Cancer Week, and a pretty special thing for you, and I know you put that together for the MIAC. Talk a little bit about this year's week and how things went.
Along with the rest of this conference season, it was tough with the weather, having to reschedule games, find game dates to play it. But the Strikeout Prostate Cancer Week, it's in its third year, and we have a new partner this year, the Minnesota Prostate Cancer Coalition. Also, Winona National Bank has sponsored our event down here. And the MNPCC has been great. I approached them this winter about coming on board and being the benefactor of the money and the efforts that we're trying to do. And they've been ecstatic and nothing but helpful. And they've been at games up in the Twin Cities. They've been involved in throwing out the first pitch, and they're a group that really is an up and coming coalition that wants to establish a name for themselves in the state. And it's just a little thing that we can do to try to help them out. And obviously, having a coalition, having a group attached to our event, seeing people that are involved in the higher ups in the coalition, being out at games and being involved in pregame festivities, it's great for both causes. And while it's been a little tough from my aspect trying to get things organized with the weather, it's been another great year. Teams have really grasped this and really understood that this is an important event, for not only for the conference, but for all the college males at every single school to be exposed to this and to understand the statistics and the dangers of prostate cancer, if it goes unattested, And we do a good job here at St. Mary's. Our public address announcer does a great job of reading off statistics throughout the game, not to try to scare people, but try to understand and get them to understand the dangers of it and how it's needed to be tested for, because it's very symptom free very early on. And so it's been another great year, and I'm hoping that it continues to build and that we have a great week next year of scheduled games being played when scheduled games are supposed to be played.
Pretty special that Justin Cronebush's father was able to throw out the first pitch. He is a prostate cancer survivor. I thought it was really nice that it was a senior parent and just kind of a nice touch to start off that day.
Yeah, Mr. Cronebush has been a great supporter of St. Mary's baseball and also a great supporter of what we've done with Strikeout Prostate Cancer. Him being a survivor of prostate cancer, it's great to incorporate him. That's something we've tried to do every single year during this event, is have someone who has been affected by prostate cancer be recognized and throw out the first pitch. And Mr. Cronebush was more than happy to be that man this year. And I mean, the Cronebushes as well as everyone. They're very soft-spoken people, and but you could tell before the game that Dan was very, very appreciative. Was happy to be involved in it, and Justin was the same. It's Justin before games doesn't smile a whole lot, but you saw Justin smiling in a situation like this.
That was a neat thing.
One more quick question, Pat. This past winter, HBC needed to pull Donny out of his duties as sports information director and keeping the live stats during a hockey game. We needed him to do color commentary. So you stepped out of your role as public address announcer at the men's hockey game into Donny's role. And rumor has it was the first time they didn't have to revise the stats after the game because he got them all right. So what'd you think about doing Donny's job for a night
It was
there?
enjoyable. I enjoy the game of hockey, anything having to do with it, and I understand that Donny's a man of many hats, and he added another one when he was asked to do public address or the play-by-play or play-by-play or color. I wasn't sure which one it was, but. And I had done a game before that for the women, and Donny asked me, are you comfortable doing a men's game? And I said, as long as I have someone spotting for me, I can do it.
Pat and I do all of the MIAC showcase together, and he's a great person to have in in the press box, and we have a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah, good. All right, Pat Jacobsen, thanks for being on the show. Good luck getting the rest of your games in here and get to the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
All right, stay tuned. Donnie and I will be back to talk about the rest of the St. Mary's sports teams this spring right after this here on HBC.
A state-of-the-art fiber optic network. Sure, you've all heard that. But what does it mean? Well, if you're an HBC customer,
it's television in crystal clear high definition and whole home DVR. Blazing fast internet speeds, perfect for gaming or movies. Phone service with your choice of features, including unlimited long distance. And now, HBC has expanded service throughout much of southeast Minnesota. Call today and see what it's like to be on a state-of-the-art fiber optic network with a local company receiving national recognition for their service.
You know, we're doing things in bus magazines and the newspapers and things like that, and it's just like we seemed like we needed a different media, and we thought, you know, TV, perfect. Laura, she is awesome. She came out the first time. She was very, very personable, tends to your needs. I mean, anything that you needed, she was right there. I literally, seriously, have been wanting to make more commercials just because it was such a great, fun process. I would recommend HBC to anybody.
Call Laura for details on how to get a free commercial for your business.
Hi, I'm Colleen Bushman, and I am HBC. I'm the Customer Service Director located in the Winona office. I love sewing, photography, and spending time with my new grandson, and HBC Internet allows me to see him anytime I want. HBC's customer service team is here to ensure that every experience you have with HBC is a positive one, whether you're signing up for new service, making changes to your existing account, or just stopping in to pay your bill and say hi. You will always feel welcome when you visit me.
We are HBC.
And we're back here on the last Cardinals Nest show of this season to talk about the rest of the St. Mary's sports. We covered baseball very thoroughly in that first segment. Dean Beckman along with Donny Nadeau. And Donny, softball, you know, we mentioned how baseball has had a lot of splits recently of their doubleheaders. Softball the same, and next up for softball is a revised conference tournament that will include all of the teams.
Yeah, it's the first time that this has happened, and they do. The MIC makes sure to let it be known that this is a one-time thing because of the weather and whatnot. All 12 teams will be in Mankato beginning Friday with pool play. What they've done is they've taken the 12 teams, they split them into 4 pools. The winner of each pool then will go on to Saturday and play in a 4-team double elimination. So it's setting up the double elimination format. St. Mary's is actually the top seed in the D pool, so they will be playing games against Gustavus and Carleton in their pool play on Friday. They haven't played Carleton yet. They were supposed to play Carleton on Wednesday, but that game got postponed. So it'll be interesting to see how they do against the Knights. But you know, St. Mary's is playing some very good ball right now, and you know, hopefully they can keep that going. You know, you get into a pool play situation. It's kind of you know, it's one of those things where you're really going to need to be at your best for both games, and hopefully. St. Mary's will be able to do that.
These highlights here against McAllister, one of just 2 home dates this year because all the other ones were canceled.
I tell you, you know, you bring up the home dates. Senior Day was last week, and you know, Julie Bartos just seems to have something to do with Senior Day. She's a 2-sport athlete at St. Mary's. She played hockey and fast pitch softball. In her last hockey game, Senior Day, she scores a goal. And then Senior Day here in softball, she hits her first career home run. So I think that Julie needs Senior Day to be every day. But she really has had a great career at St. Mary's, and so have the other seniors. You know, you look at Paige Carter and Haley Ole and Anna Rambolt. You know, these guys have really done a lot for St. Mary's fast pitch, and you know, going to be sorely missed next year. But you know, before you start looking at next year, you've got to look for this weekend, and hopefully they get out of their pool. You know, it's going to be a tough haul. With Gustavus being the 5 seed and Carleton being the 9 seed, they actually have probably the toughest of the 4 pools in terms of teams that are in it with them. So you know, hopefully you've got Kayla Peterson throwing very well in her last year as a Cardinal, and you know, they're probably going to ride her as far as she'll take them this weekend.
Right. I was going to say, you know, the Cardinals 11-9 in the conference, 18-13 overall. they can score runs. That's not the problem. And Kayla Peterson has pitched well. Her ERA is like 3.35 or something like that. But, you know, you condense the season, and we talked about that in baseball. It really does come down to pitching.
Absolutely. And when you're throwing as much as she has to throw, it's tough. You know, I think Paige Carter's done an outstanding job coming in and relieving her. But, you know, if the Cardinals are going to do anything this weekend, it's going to be with Kayla pitching and with St. Mary's hitting. And they're going to have to continue to do a great job offensively. And you know, if you win 9-8, you win 9-8. It's the same as 1-0. The win is the win. So I think that, you know, they're going to go into it and be ready to go. And you know, hopefully the weather holds out and we're able to get the whole weekend in, but the forecast does not look good.
No. Congratulations to Jeff Hallberg and the men's tennis team, Donnie. It came down to the last regular season matchup with McAllister. Winner goes to the playoffs. Loser's season is done for the year, and St. Mary's eked out a victory to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's a very fitting end for the collegiate careers of the seniors for the men. They've been focused on getting this team to the conference tournament. This new format, the 6-team conference tournament, which started about 7 years ago. This is the first time that St. Mary's has qualified for the tournament. So again, a great thing for the seniors to go out on. And this group of 4 seniors in Mike Lunka and Bobby Steingraber, Sam Puff, and Andrew Rangich, they've been the reason that this team has been continually climbing up the ladder and now finally getting into the conference tournament. They've had a great 4-year career and really have helped bring Cardinal tennis up to up to the top of the conference standings, and the team is very excited about this weekend. They open with St. Thomas on Friday over at Gustavus. That's where the tournament will be played. They played a solid match against St. Thomas the first time around, but you know, I talked to Coach Hallberg yesterday, and you know, he said, you know, it might have been the one match that we just plain old got outplayed, and so he knows that they need to get off to a fast start on Friday in the doubles portion. And hopefully they'll be able to carry that over. You know, they've got outstanding doubles play. They have some great doubles teams. You look at Mike Lunka and Bobby Steingraber. They've just been, you know, crazy good for 4 years, and I'm sure that Coach Hallberg is expecting the same from them on Friday. And Sam Puff plays very good, and Andrew's an outstanding doubles player. If they can get off to maybe a 2-1. Lead after the doubles, you know, who knows what's going to happen in singles. So
and the freshman Colin Kazarowski, 20-4.
20-4 on the season. You can't single season school record for wins in a season with 20. You look at Bobby Steingraber. He's got a doubles win or doubles record for wins in a season with 20. Mike Lunka is going to leave St. Mary's as the all-time winningest doubles player with 64 wins, and Sam Puff's going to leave as the second with the second most singles wins in a career. And so you look at that senior class, a lot of great talent, and Coach Hallberg is certainly going to miss them next year.
I want to get to track and field. The women's tennis team ended their season 2-8 in the conference, 10-10 on the season. A lot of good young talent on that team as they look to rebuild. Now let's go to track and field. We'll close things out here, Donnie. The St. Mary's, the weather was great for the St. Mary's University Open, the lone outdoor track meet, home track meet of the season for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's so nice to have great weather on that day for them because of the craziness of this season. It's really nice. We had Peter Borash in last week, and the Cardinals Nest magic continued with Peter finishing second in the 1500. A great performance from Peter, and I know that this season's been really tough for the Cardinals in terms of just getting meets in. Both teams were supposed to compete on Wednesday night up in the Twin Cities, and both of those meets got canceled. So they've got one more meet on Saturday in Waukesha, Wisconsin, at the Carroll University Pioneer Invitational, and then it's the conference outdoors next weekend up in St. Thomas. So they haven't really had a lot of meets to get ready for, but I know talking to Coach McMahon, he's ready to go and excited about this weekend, but more so about next weekend in the conference championships.
All right, so that's going to do it for the Cardinals Nest as we kind of look at the upcoming outdoor schedule for the track and field team. Donnie, thanks again for a great season here on the Cardinals Nest, and we especially want to thank HBC for all the support they provide, and of course thanks to you for watching the Cardinals Nest here on HBC.